But thank you all so much for your patience and for joining today. My name is Alison Coombs. I am the chair of this committee. Welcome to our November meeting, which will also be our last meeting for 2023. And Councilmember Murillo is excused due to illness. Councilmember Medina, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, everyone. Councilmember Ruben Medina, Ward 3. Thank you.
All right, thank you all so much again for joining. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Councilmember Medina, do you have any changes?
None at this time, thank you.
Okay, great. Then those will stand approved as written. And so we'll move on to the agenda. Oh, wait, first, sorry, I skipped announcements. Does anybody have any announcements of upcoming events? And I can't see everyone, unfortunately, because I'm on my phone. So if folks want to hop in, feel free. Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to our agenda, which is the Arts in Public Places 5-year plan with Roberta Bloom.
So actually, our chair, Ana Valles, is going to be providing a short introduction. And then our 5-year plan consultants, Kendall Peterson and Jill Stillwell, will be handling the presentation. So Ana, I think you're up.
Thank you, Roberta. Hi, everyone. My name is Ana Valles, and as Roberta said, I serve as the chair of the Art in Public Places Commission. So thank you so much for allowing us this time to present the highlights of the City News Art in Public Places 5-year plan. So to develop a comprehensive plan with tangible applications at the Art in Public Places Commission, we concluded that we needed the support of experts to lead the process. We wanted experts not only in the public planning aspect, but most importantly in this field of public art. The commission identified potential candidates and went through the process of interviewing and deciding on which consultants to hire. So we reached an unanimous decision to hire Kendall and Jill. Kendall Pedersen with Third Square Creative Solution is a public art consultant with over 15 years of experience. Before starting her consulting practice, she worked at Denver Public Art and Denver International Airport. She said, "Public art is my specialty." She told us when we interviewed her for the job. Jill Stillwell with Stillwell Cultural Consulting. She was the Cultural Services Director for the City of Fort Collins for over 12 years, and currently she's also a college instructor. Jill has been consulting since 2015 with a focus on vision-oriented arts and cultural planning. Kendall and Jill were able to lead meaningful conversations, interpreted and incorporated great community input, and provided valuable insights that help us develop such a robust plan. So without further ado, I will let Kendall and Jill take over the presentation. Thank you.
First I have to unmute. Thank you, Ana, and thank you, Roberta. Thank you, everyone, for inviting us to give this presentation. As Ana mentioned, my name's Kendall Peterson. I live a hop, skip, and a jump away from you all in Aurora. I live in the neighborhood of Central Park, and I am regularly driving down Colfax and Montview to Aurora to shop. It's kind of my new favorite place. So we have really enjoyed doing this plan, and Roberta and Ana and the AIPPC have been just wonderful hosts, and we have a renewed love for Aurora. So you'll probably see us around there quite a bit. But you can turn on the next slide. We just wanted to give you a tiny little overview of what we're going to be talking about tonight, or this evening or this afternoon, I should say. I keep thinking it's a lot darker than it usually is. So we'll just give you an overview of our process, and then we'll talk a little bit about the survey that we conducted. We'll review the mission and vision, and then kind of go over our goals. So this is super informal. If anybody has questions, please interrupt us. We are here to answer any questions that you have. So you can go to the next slide.
Right. And I'm Jill Stillwell, and part of the consulting team here. And just echo what Kendall said. It was a pleasure to work with the Art and Public Places Commission and with Roberta, and just within the community, we were really welcomed, and everybody was very giving of their time and their input into this process. So we're going to start with just like why a public art plan. And of course, the first reason is because the city of Aurora requires one. They require that every 5 years, the commission look backwards at what they've accomplished and then put together a plan for what's ahead for the next 5 years. And so this plan looks at 2024 through 2028. And really, the public art program in Aurora is robust. It's been around since 1993. And really been thriving. And the purpose of the program has and continues to be to really enhance the public spaces of Aurora, anchoring local gathering places and commercial centers, and creating memorable one-of-a-kind experiences. And again, the purpose is to make public art accessible to everyone, enhance quality of life, and increase access to art experience for everyone. So those were really the grounding or foundational ideas that we went into this process with. You can go to the next slide, please.
So we began this in the early spring of 2023. And the first thing we did was we went out with Roberta, and we basically looked at a few key spots in Aurora where there's new public art, and some of the more older spots in Aurora that were some of the earlier pieces in the collection. And then we went out by ourselves and did another tour. So we were able to pretty much cover the whole span of artwork in Aurora. We might have missed a couple things here and there because it's a huge city. So but that was part of what we wanted to do, was kind of just do an assessment of the collection. We also did an assessment of the current policies, all of the selection criteria, procedures, all of the policies around the Art to See program, and we did some recommended changes to those. So that was sort of just a little freshening up of all the policies and procedures. You can go to the next slide. We also conducted 7 interviews. We had three focus groups that were great. We had one with artists, one with the city's DEI representatives, and then another one, remind me, it was Jill?
Economic development folks.
Economic development, sorry. And then we also hosted a number of meetings with the Art and Public Places Commission. We had sort of work sessions that were lengthy work sessions where we hosted and discussed a number of different topics. The community survey we sent out, we received over 400 responses, 6 of which were in Spanish, which was a huge response. And then we also had a site selection meeting with Art and Public Places Commission and staff members. So those were all of the activities that we did. You can go to the next slide. So in the public art survey was such a great response. We of those 400 respondents, or over 400 respondents, we had 95% of them say that it is somewhat important or very important for their families to experience the arts, with 73% responding very important, which is a really strong recommendation from your constituents that the arts are important to them. 88% of respondents said that they've viewed or noticed or enjoyed or seen public art, and when asked where, it normally was noticed in places that were pedestrian friendly, like the parks, light rail areas, and inside municipal buildings and libraries. Next slide. Oh, and by the way, all the pictures on these slides are from your collection, which I think is there's a lot of really interesting pictures if you haven't seen them all. Over 93% of the respondents affirm that public art adds value to their community. So that's a very strong in favor of public art in their community. And when they were asked why, the respondents said that it provides artwork for the whole community that they can interact and enjoy, interact with and enjoy for free, that it creates a sense of place and helps make public spaces more memorable. It contributes to community pride and a sense of belonging, and also that it provokes thought and can create positive changes in our society. And I would say all of those are really, really strong, strong advocates for these were sort of the themes that then took us into some of our goals and objectives. So you can move on.
So actually, the Art in Public Places Commission had updated the mission statement for the program pretty recently. So our job was just to review that based on our research and the input we were receiving and just kind of verify it. And we really believe this is a strong mission statement for the organization, which is to capture the pulse of the community by contributing to neighborhood development and economic vitality, and by engaging the many voices of Aurora through arts and culture. So we just felt that really resonated with what we were hearing from the community, from the commission, from staff. So we thought that's a very strong mission statement. So go to the next slide. And the commission had also updated the vision fairly recently as well. So here you'll see that it's really, again, about envisioning the establishment of a unique identity for the city of Aurora and how to use public art to do that. And that public art also contributes to civic pride and a sense of place. And I think the other side of that, as mentioned in this great vision, is that a variety of media and styles reinforces and expands Aurora's commitment to improve the aesthetic character of its public places. So, and that encouraging interaction and meaningful connections among the diverse communities while educating people about the value of the arts in their community was also a really strong part of their vision. So we grounded all of our work in the research and outreach and engagement that we did that Kendall spoke of, the surveying, this mission and vision, all of our work with the commission. And we developed some primary goals for this 5-year plan. We can go to the next slide and we'll look at those.
And stop me anytime if you want. So this slide is just an overview. So we'll just start off with goal 1. The first thing was to make sure that we are going to build awareness around the public art plan. So this plan and augment the brand of the AIPP program. One of the things that we wanted to make sure is that everyone in the city knows what the public art program is about. That everybody knows what pieces are in the collection, give information about the pieces in the collection. So augmenting the outreach about the collection in terms of QR codes and tours as much as possible, to make sure that city staff and elected officials know everything that they want to know and can know about the public art collection, so that they can spread the word about it when they're in their conversations about the city. And then also making sure that the city, that the staff and the AIPPC has plenty of contact with the rest of the city departments. So making sure that there's some work that needs to be done in terms of making sure everybody knows exactly what the procedures are, what policies are, and what the AIPP program is all about. So then also making sure that there's partnerships out there that already exist out there, and maybe growing those partnerships. So like Visit Aurora, economic development, the city, and the business improvement districts.
And some of that came about too, just with changeover that's been happening within the city, with new staff people coming on board. Just had a council election. As leadership and department heads change over, there's an important element to continue to bring people up to speed with what the public art program is and how it works.
Cool. So that was the goal number 1. Goal number 2, embrace and encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion in all aspects of Aurora's public art program and collection. This was a really, really key point for us. One of the things we did in all of our interviews and in speaking to the public, we asked people what made Aurora unique. And it's really important for us as planners to make sure that we're not creating cookie cutter plans that you could see anywhere. And one of the things that was most mentioned was that Aurora is a very diverse community. It's a large, diverse community, and it is growing. So those were key pieces of what we wanted to pull out in the plan. So one of the things that we wanted to do was make sure that the commission and selection panels and all of the pieces and parts of the process are reflective of the diversity of Aurora. So those are some of the objectives. Also making sure that we're engaging diverse artists in all parts of their career. So artists who are just starting out, as well as artists who are further along in their careers, making sure that the collection is diverse in every single way, not just in terms of racial diversity, but in terms of religious diversity, in terms of making sure that the artists are using all diverse types of media and materials, and making sure that it is in all parts, reaching out in all parts of the city of Aurora. Sorry, go ahead, Jill. Did you want to
Oh,
add
I was
something?
to say that, and then, partnering, there's a great partnership between the commission and the program with the DEI office within the city of Aurora too. And that's something that's fairly new since the last time the 5-year plan was done. So, and the program had already developed a framework for that, for selecting artwork. And so just continuing to expand that and utilizing the resources and the partnerships within the city itself.
Sorry, I had to mute. My dog is barking, and it's the hour when everybody is delivering packages at my door. So my apologies. So goal number 3, to prioritize public art projects that align with the city initiatives and placemaking efforts. This was also very specific to Aurora. Aurora is seemingly growing and developing at a breakneck speed. There's a lot of city building going on. There's a lot of redevelopment going on. So we wanted to make sure that the projects, that you were able to take advantage of some of these earlier lead time projects, so that the public art could kind of follow along with some of these types of projects. But also it just makes sure that we are also balancing those areas that are under development and with art deserts. So the idea that there are places where there's less activity going on, so make sure that those places are not left behind in terms of the public art program. We wanted to make sure that there's some initiatives in the city of Aurora. Roberta mentioned that you have very strong, sorry, my dogs and my children are coming home now. So, but strong water conservation goals for the city. So perhaps some of the art that we look at might be in service of that as well. So just sort of looking at that and making sure that those things are part of the public art planning process. Jill, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm good. But I'll looking at number 4, goal is to be excellent stewards of the public art collection. The city is responsible for carrying and preserving this collection, and so we always have to think about how we support those efforts. And some of the things that we discussed were really, just standards of practice with regular inventories and condition reporting, and also thinking about how to bring in outside consultants, the small staff. And so how can you utilize outside consultants to come in and bring their expertise to making sure those inventories and condition reporting is up to date, and addressing things on a basis that helps preserve them, as opposed to letting things get too far gone, and also thinking about how to use some of the exhibit spaces that are available to the city, and how to manage those programs was another thing that we really wanted to explore a little bit more, and looking at partnerships for perhaps doing that. Kendall?
Yeah. And then goal 5 is to streamline AIPP policies and processes. As we mentioned, we updated the policies to make sure that they reflect exactly how the public art program actually functions. And then we also wanted to make sure that we're doing some formalization of partnerships, for example, the Havana Bid Art to See program, and making sure that we're streamlining selection and approval processes so that they're simple and straightforward and transparent, and not providing any undue time burdens to artists or the city. And then making sure that we consider staffing, because it is a small staff and there are quite a few projects that are being undertaken by the public art program. So making sure that they're looking at all possibilities in terms of staffing and consulting and that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, part of that managing the maintenance is just having the staff time to get to each piece on a regular basis. And then also, as we know that things are continuing to grow, there will be more projects. And so, how can you use project managers and other tools to help expand the resources that you bring to public art?
Any questions on any of the goals or anything that we missed, Roberta or Anna?
And we have one more slide too, KLP.
Yeah.
I think you're doing great.
Okay.
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thanks, Roberta.
Took me a
so
minute to unmute.
So this is just our last slide, and this is just a really small slide for what is actually quite a list. But we did do a whole session with Anna and the rest of the commissioners to look at a list of, so we looked at a list of locations that were from the survey, from our interviews. We looked at CIP lists, and we looked at upcoming projects that were planned for kind of pre-COVID, and made sure that those are all still valid projects. So it was a great session. We put a bunch of stickers on walls and made sure that everybody felt like the projects that we were focusing in on were the proper ones. And then the idea is that this list has short-term projects, middle term, and longer term projects. So Roberta and her staff will start to kind of activate these as they're moving through them, and make sure that she is contacting all the appropriate city staff when these come online. So a couple of those highlights were the Highline Canal, and sort of making sure that is a partnership moving forward. The idea that we could also do artwork at the new animal shelter, and also the Alameda and 225 bridge that is coming online and will be a big infrastructure project. But I think there's opportunities for some artwork that would really make that an interesting gateway for Aurora. If anybody wants to see the full list of projects, it is available in the actual plan itself, which I think you might have copies of it in front of you. But a lot of those were done with the idea that they'll look at these lists every year. They'll reprioritize every year depending on what's actually going forward. Because as we know, for instance, the 9 Mile bridge has changed status, so that'll be put on hold until that is decided moving forward. So preferencing other projects as other projects come on board. Any questions on that? Any questions from us in general?
Well, we know that was a quick overview of quite a large document, but we know your time is valuable, and that we wanted to we're grateful to have the time to, go over what we've done and the great work that the commission did and the staff did in supporting us in putting this together. And we feel like it'll be hopefully a solid plan moving forward for the next 5 years.
Yeah. And thanks again for the opportunity. We really, I'm not, Aurora, we're consultants who are working in a lot of different communities, and you all should be super proud of the program that you have. It is so robust and so diverse, your collection. There's a lot of people who are really struggling to get their projects going, and really suffered a lot during COVID to keep projects going. So it's a real testament to your AIPP program and leadership under Roberta that it's gone so incredibly well. So
Mhm.
kudos to Roberta and her team. And we hope that let us know if you have any questions further moving forward. We're happy to provide them answers.
Allison, I think you're on mute.
Poor Allison.
We can't hear you.
Councilmember Coombs, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you are muted.
It shows her not muted, but for
Yeah,
some
now it does.
can't hear. All right, she just asked me if you had any questions, so on the chat. So, yeah, good presentation, good information. Yeah, I think you guys do a great job, and hopefully we can see more art all over the place. Do we have any idea of just a question of how much of the art is divided amongst the wards?
That's a question for Roberta. I know, Roberta, you have sort of a whole map of everything. And one of the ideas that we had in the plan was that we definitely need to make sure that art is spread out throughout all the wards. But because of staffing and stuff, we might need to just make sure that that's done a little more slowly. Like, I think doing 5 projects in all the wards or 6 projects in every ward every year is probably a little more than Roberta can take. So just making sure that you all know that that is one of the key features of that list of projects moving forward, to make sure that there is art in all the wards, but it might not happen as on a regular basis for each of the wards, kind of thing. So just a little expectation setting on that. But Roberta,
So-
did you want to comment on that?
Sure. We do have a map in our office, one of the big maps that they can produce in Public Works, where we have colored stars for each public art project. And so, and it's a ward map, so we can see where things are. So it is our goal to, provide public art in every ward, but it's, we can't necessarily say we're going to start a new project in every ward every year, like Kendall is saying. And it's really hard to evaluate number of pieces in number of wards, because we have programs like Art to See on Havana Street, which brings 12 new pieces to 2 different wards every other year. We also have the Arts District, which is a huge compressed site for public art. And we have Ward 3, which I know is your ward, Ruben, where we have, the municipal campus, which also has a huge number of public art pieces. And so, we'll have 2 new pieces this coming year with the courthouse panel. So we do keep it in our mind, and we are aware as we look at prioritizing projects to make sure that we are planning new projects in every part of the city.
Well, thank you. Councilmember Coombs, can you talk now, or do you want me to? I can say your comments in the chat. Still
Yeah,
can't hear you.
I saw the question.
Okay.
So Councilmember Coombs is asking, is there a conversation about the role of public art in urban renewal areas and plans? And yes, absolutely there is. We have an ongoing relationship with Andrea Amanek. We're aware of current and new urban renewal areas and try to make those a priority in terms of providing public art. There's another question about public-private partnerships to enhance public art throughout the city, like Art to See. Well, we have a lot of partnerships. So we're dedicating a piece on December 14th at the new Liberty View Veterans Apartments, which represents a partnership with the Aurora Housing Authority. This is not the first time we've worked with them. And although as affordable housing, they don't have a requirement to provide public art, the Public Art Commission has expressed a commitment to ensuring that public art is provided in these kind of environments. We feel like this is one of the most, one of the neediest places to put public art. And we relocated a piece a few years ago to Aurora Housing Authority site, and we are relocating another piece in this coming year to Peoria Crossing 2. And we are developing this new relationship with the Highland Canal Conservancy, which we think is something that's really important to do. We're looking at 3 different sites right now. And of course, with Tracy Young being their chief operating officer, we have a strong advocate there who's really eager to work with us. And we're working on a new relationship with Aurora Water they have some money to put towards public art, although they're not required to do so, but because of the SCENE project. And so we're developing a conceptual approach to how public art can help the community understand water conservation and climate issues. Also, with the city's private development program is exploding, and we can hardly keep up the workload related to private development. So these are not projects that we facilitate ourselves, but we work with each developer that's working in either a metro district or a transit-oriented development district to help them. They each have a public art requirement. So we work closely with them to help them define what their budget is required to be and help them to articulate goals about what they want to achieve with public art, and then to help them we consult with them as they work on implementing those goals. So the piece Umi at the Aurora Highlands is part of their whole public art requirement. Their public art requirement was in the $1 million range because of the size of their development. We're also working, and they're a metro district. We're working with Town Center at Aurora, which is a TOD, which is a great example of this new kind of thinking about malls and mall usage, where, they are bringing in a hotel, they're bringing in multifamily housing units, and really transforming what is going to be happening there. They have a very large public art requirement. And so we're working with them on their public art plan.
Yeah.
So
Feels like the answer is a resounding yes.
okay. Thank you for helping me sum that up.
And this is why we as consultants are really impressed with the program, because these are unusual programs that not every public art program, every municipality has. And I really do, it's great leadership.
Yeah. Or takes advantage of.
Mhm.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I switched back to my phone, so hopefully you can hear me now.
We can.
I'm so sorry that you have the tech problems, Councilwoman. That's always hard to do your
It's
job.
all good. I will get it figured out. But thank you all again so much, to the commission for your ongoing leadership, to Roberta for your constant and I know very tireless work, and to our consultants for really, helping provide that outside set of eyes, because I think it can be easy to lose sight of everything that we have and everything that folks are doing just by being in the midst of getting it done. So thank you really for kind of bringing that big picture view and helping folks to focus on how we move forward. So really appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Medina, do you have any other comments?
Nope. I'm good. Thank you.
Great.
All right.
I
Well,
would say
thank
that
you so much.
we really appreciate the support of City Council and all the great work that you do. And we feel like the future of Aurora and the public art program is really bright. We have so many things we want to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, celebrating our 30th anniversary this year was really exciting. So we think things are looking good. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kendall and Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Anna.
We'll talk to you soon, Roberta. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.